Sarah Golden didn't remember having left the TV on before she'd passed out the night before, but its loud noise woke her out of a sound sleep. She could tell by the light coming in her window that it was late morning. Sitting up in bed, she watched a tall, naked man drinking from a milk carton in the kitchenette. The studio apartment she'd rented near the Miami Transplant Institute had been all she needed when she'd decided to take the traveling nurse job 3 months ago in May. Because of her transplant experience, they'd offered her a $5,000 signing bonus to work a 4-month gig. She struggled to piece together how the prior evening had ended after she had left the bar with her nurse colleagues. But the pounding in her head was too much. She had to lie back down. A blonde with a nice firm body and long legs, she mumbled to herself. Sarah had taken home her share of strong, handsome men, but was rarely attracted to blondes. What was his name? What did he do? She watched him playing with the remote and then closed her eyes. She fondly recalled that he was an excellent kisser. She loved to make out. They'd spent almost an hour in his car before she'd asked him up to her place. The thought brought a grin to her sleepy face. Before she could open her eyes again, he was next to her, kissing her softly on her neck, reaching his hand beneath the smooth sheets. His fingers started to arouse her before she could protest. He kissed her mouth. "Good morning, you wild woman. I wanted to make you breakfast in bed, but you have no food in your refrigerator. So I thought I'd give you something else for breakfast." With that, she welcomed Blondie as he slid on top of her, and they started to rock gently under the covers. Not a bad way to wake up, she thought. And he was well endowed. She ignored her headache and enjoyed her breakfast. After they'd both had their fill, Sarah a few times, she kissed Blondie on the head and went into the bathroom. She grabbed some Advil from the medicine cabinet, gulped them down with water, and took a hot, soapy shower. She shampooed her long brown hair and wrapped it in a towel. She was putting on her silky bathrobe when Blondie came into the bathroom, still naked. "Wanna fool around a little more before we go out to eat?" he asked. "You were amazing, but I need to get ready for work." She didn't actually have to work. She just didn't want a relationship with any man, even though she enjoyed them sexually. She was especially not looking for something here in Miami. Blondie wore a slight look of disappointment when he stepped into the shower. Sarah went into the kitchen and glanced at the TV. CNN was on, and she spotted her old friend Dr. Bauer sitting at a table, facing a panel of U.S. Congresspeople. She unmuted the TV. The small print on the bottom of the screen read, "Federal Subcommittee of Investigation and Oversight. Hearings on National Organ Distribution." The camera showed the committee members. The woman chairing the committee was speaking. "Dr. Bauer, you can say with absolute certainty that all organs are allocated equitably throughout the United States? There is no way to game the system? You have data to prove this?" Dr. Bauer leaned forward toward his microphone, his disheveled white hair partly covering his soft brown eyes. "Madam Chair and committee members, I am president of the United Network for Organ Sharing, known as UNOS. As you will see when you review your packets, every organ offered is tracked, regardless of whether it is transplanted or discarded. We follow all transplant recipients for the rest of their lives. Public trust is paramount to the success of organ and tissue donation and transplantation. I am happy to answer any questions." With that, he sat back and took a sip of water, appearing calm. His lawyer, sitting next to him, whispered into his ear. Sarah was shocked to see her old colleague. It had been over 4 years since their paths had crossed. He looked dapper, as always, but he'd clearly aged. She had worked with Bauer when he was a transplant fellow, and recalled how handsome he was and how passionate he was about anything that had to do with transplantation.